Hi everyone, this is Math 31, and then the lesson today is I want you to work on 1993 AP Calculus multiple choice question. So there are total 45 questions back then, and then they give you 90 minutes, so two questions each, and then you can use calculator. So a lot of questions you can graph and use the derivative function or the integration function there to find the answer. So it's quite nice. Now, and up to now, we have done 5 units, and you can see like before we can't do all of the question, and now we can pretty much do most of them. So out of the 45 question, I think we are able to do most of them except like let's say one, two, three, four, except 6 question. Wow, like we can do 39 of them. And then the way I want you to do this is you can open up this video and then download the test, right? The questions, which is right like this one that I'll also attach for you, and you can go through them. I will for each question I will explain what it is about, what is this is testing, and then you can pause and then you do the question, write the answer on a piece of paper, and then you go on to the next one, get the next hint, what this question is about, and then you tried it, and then you move on and so on. And this way you go through the whole multiple choice. And then the reason I want to do that is I want to write down some notes for you. So those notes become something that you use when you study for exam or something you refer to or like some key concept that you should know. So this is like a review. And also like doing the question will test you and help you to understand how to do well on this multiple choice. Okay, all right. So these are the questions. And let me just go through the notes. And then as I say, after I done each one, you can pause and then you can try the question. Okay, question number one. All right, so he's here. So this is the note that I also prepared for you. A very short note for each one. So question number one, for example, is just to see if you know how to read the notation for derivative. Okay, and then you just go ahead and do it. Question number two, we can't do it, so just skip this one. For question number three, it's about limits, and then it's special types of limits when n approach infinity. So only apply for this kind. Like for the other one, you will use different method. But for this one, we have touched on that, and then is you can refer to lesson 3.5 to see what this is about. Okay. Question number four is about implicit differentiation. Question number five is pre-calculus question. So these are knowledge about rational function. So as the AP exam evolve, they have they don't have any pre-calculus question anymore. But then back in 1993, they still have pre-calculus question. So those are like a grade 12 types of question. Okay, but we don't have that anymore. But you can just like test your knowledge about that. This one in particular is about rational functions. Question number six. And this is a word question, but then after you read it, if you make a graph and then you realize this is same as solving, or this is same as asking you for the definite integral. All right, so you can try it and you have a calculator. You can use the calculator to find the answer directly from the definite integral. Now, however, the answer in this question is all in exact form, and I'm show you like question number six is all like ln 2 over 3, ln 4 over 3, and so on. The graphic calculator will give you an answer in a decimal point, an approximation, and then you just check each one. So given the answer from the calculator, you just punch this each one of these exact answer into the calculator to see which one is same as the one you get. Okay, understand? All right, question number six is about tangent line. Perfect. This is the formula. And later on, we have a question about normal line. Okay, so tangent line first. And number eight, just basic formula, refer to the basic formula. Back then, they probably have like formula sheet, and nowadays they don't have formula sheet because by the time you have done all the homework, you will know all the formula already. All right. Question number nine is pre-calculus. Question number 10 is derivative notation again. Very easy. Question 11, they give you acceleration, ask you what's the position. So from acceleration, you integrate it, you get velocity. but then make sure it's plus c, and then they have an initial condition for velocity, then you can plug it in and you can use it for c. And then with that entire equation that become your new velocity equation, you integrate it, you get position question plus c, and then you plug in the initial condition, then you can find the actual answer. Okay, so it will take some time for question 11. Question 12 is about properties of integral. So lesson 4.3, okay, properties of integral. So check that out. Question 13 is pre-calculus. Question 14 and it's an indefinite integral question. There's only one method we learned, that is integration by substitution. Okay, for integration, there's no chain rule, no product rule, no quotient rule. They don't have that. For integration, there's only integration by substitution. The integration by substitution work for a product, because when you have a product, it is a result of a derivative with a chain rule. Then that's where the chain rule you multiply, right, with the derivative. That's where the product come from. So with integration, you do integration by substitution. Okay, that's question 14. Question 15 about relative maximum. So solve for f prime equal to 0, and then you find the answer. Okay. Question 16, line of normal. What is line of normal? Line of normal is same as line of tangent, except they have perpendicular slopes to each other, so they form like an X to each other. So you just find it the same way how you would solve for a line of tangent, but for the slope, you use the perpendicular slope, which is the negative reciprocal. Do you remember that? So if the slope of the tangent is 2 over 3, the slope for the normal will be negative 3 over 2. It's a negative reciprocal. Question 17. This is a integration question, but don't be tricked by trying to solve it by integration of substitution. Then you will not be able to do it. Okay, so don't get tricked on this one. You don't need integration by substitution. Then what do? You think about it. Question 18, whenever it says mean value theorem, remember this formula. Okay, it's not on the formula sheet anyway, so you just memorize it. Mean value theorem, memorize this. 19 is conceptual question about function. 20, you omit it, we'll do it in unit 7. Question 21, whenever they ask for points of inflection, is the second derivative equal to 0, and then the sign need to change just before and after that point. So if the sign didn't change, it's not a point of inflection. You need to make sure the sign changes around it. Question 22, it says try the answer. Okay, so you may not be able to solve it directly. If you could, wonderful. Otherwise, work backwards. Try each answer and then derive it to see which one give you the question. Question 13, critical numbers and critical points are the same thing, which is solving f prime equal to 0 or like undefined. Question 24, another notation for derivative. Question 25, we just learned this, refer to lesson 5.5. Question 26 is question about, again, position, velocity, and acceleration. You know the relationship, you derive it, get the acceleration let equal to 0, then then find the velocity at that time. Question 27 is pre-calculus. You can use a graphic calculator. Question 28 is again property of definite integral. It could be quite challenging. Give that a try. You can't solve by graphic calculators. The numbers are too big, I guess. Question 29, try graphing. It says try graphing. Check the left and right limit. It's a limit question. Question 30 and 33, we can skip them. Question 31 is the lesson 5.5 we have learned. Question 32, just solve it by graphing, okay? Question 33, this is something called differential equation. We'll learn it in unit 6. Question 34 is a related rate question, okay? So remember our steps. You need to set up a primary equation, and then from there you derive it to get a related rate equation, and then you solve. Question 35 is pre-calculus. Question 36 is like a problem-solving question. You need to do some work on this one, okay? They ask you to do a rectangular approximation and then do a trapezoidal approximation, and then you compare the two answers, okay? it says here inscribe triangle rectangle, which means the rectangle is below the graph. It's not specifically saying it's a right rectangle or left rectangle. It could be different for the two as long as the rectangle is inside. So make a graph and see how it will work. Okay, so it's a problem solving. Question 36. We never done something like this before. Question 37 is definition of derivative, unit 1. Question 38, it says which one could be the answer? So they didn't give you the initial condition so that you can determine the particular solution at the end, but you can check each answer to see which one will give you the question you want. Okay, all right. Question 39 is a related rate question, but they didn't give you any number. They just say like you try to see if you can solve this one. Okay. Question 40. Now, this is, we learned about absolute value of a function. We learned that in grade 12, but we have never studied the absolute of f of absolute x. So what happened is when you absolute x, all the negative value of x, they disappear because they become positive. So in your original function, if you have negative 1 as your x, now you won't have negative 1. You only have positive 1. And then because you absolute it, okay, so this will have some special effect on the graph. So let's see if you can figure that out. So I don't think you will have this kind of question anymore. I don't think so. Okay. Question 41 is second fundamental theorem of calculus. Do you recognize that? It's key when you have such question in your when you see them in your test, you recognize that it is a second FTC. We omit question 42 and 43. Question 44, you can just graph and see, or you can try deriving it. Okay, question 45, Newton's method. All right, is lesson 3.8. It's something that I mentioned, you may not see it. It is only one question. It's about a line of approximation. It's like a tangent line. You start with an answer, you use a tangent line to approximate another one. So you can refer to it. It's not a big deal. Like if you really don't have this topic, don't worry. It may at most be one question in your MC. You can give it up. You can still get 5 points. Just randomly pick an answer. Let's pick answer D, okay? Like in your AP exam. Otherwise, well, visit the topic. It's not too hard. On the other hand, they give you a first approximation. Find the tangent line. Let it equal to 0. That's your second approximation. And then if you want another iteration, put that second approximation into the tangent line, make a tangent line from there, make a tangent line, let it equal to 0 so it hit the x-axis. So that's your third approximation. Okay, just keep it repeatedly, then you get a better and better approximation. Okay, all right, that's 45 question. Okay, well done. Well done, student. If you like stick to this, gone through this whole thing, pause, do the question, come back, pause, do the question. So by doing this, going through this exercise once, you are now in much better position than before you have done this. Okay, all right. So thank you. I will stop here and I can post the answer later. Okay, but definitely it's the work that you've gone through help you build up the skill, not just checking the answer, which may have little to do little help with building up your own skill in doing calculus. Okay, thank you. All right, bye bye.